Good morning, students. How are you all? I hope you all are fine and doing well. So, today we are going to do Poem 6, that is Amanda. Let me show you the text. This is from your book First Flight. Let's come to the text Amanda. This is the poem Amanda. So, this poem is penned down by Robin Klein. Let's talk about the poetess first. She was born in Kempsey, New South Wales in 1936. Mainly, she was an Australian children's writer and her writings often features young protagonists. Protagonist means the main characters who rebel against their structured environment. So now let's talk about this poem. This poem is about a young girl whose mother constantly seen nagging her for not behaving in a certain manner and fulfilling her responsibilities. So we would see how the girl reacts to her mother. So now let's understand this poem.
So let us understand the poem Amanda by Robin Klein. Before starting, let me tell you, this poem is set in 4 different settings. The first one is the real world, where Amanda's mother forever trying to correct her or scolding her. The other one is fanciful, or you can say it's just imagery, and it is designed by Amanda in her own mind. So these are the lines where she escapes from the constant scoldings of her mother. So these are in bracketed. Let's start doing the poem. As you can see, these are the opening lines. But before going to opening lines, every child feels that he or she is controlled and instructed not to do one thing or another. Maybe you too may feel that your freedom is curtailed. So same are the feelings of this girl Amanda, who is constantly nagged by her mother. So the line starts as, "Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda." So even in this very starting, you may notice that the mother is talking in a very strict tone, and she tells not to bite her nails. She wants Amanda to sit up her back straighten. So now, what do you think? How Amanda would react to this? Okay, as the line shows that the mother is a constant nagger. So in this stanza, we will see Amanda's reaction on her mother's constant nagging. This is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. So now, this is the Amanda's reaction on her mother's correcting her on proper way to sit. While her mother is mouthing correct behavior lessons for her, she has engrossed in her own world of imagination, or you can say fancy. Now she withdraws from her real life. Here she imagines herself in a beautiful green sea. Emerald means green sea. So she imagines that this is a beautiful emerald green sea where she is only there alone. There nobody else lives there. She is the only one who lives there in this beautiful emerald sea. So as these 2 lines means it very clear, there is a languid emerald sea, beautiful emerald sea, green color sea, where the sole inhabitant is me. Sole inhabitant means she only lives there. She is the only one who lives there. A mermaid drifting blissfully. Mermaid means, now she imagines herself as a mermaid. Okay, so Now she is no longer a human being. She imagines herself as a mermaid who is drifting blissfully, sailing in the sea without any worries, without any naggings, without anybody who could bother her. So, in this way, she lost in her imaginative world. Why she is lost? Because she wants to withdraw herself from the real life, where her mother is scolding her. Now move to the next. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. So again we see in this stanza that Amanda's mother talking to her in a authoritative way. Okay, so she is just possessing the authority. She asked Amanda whether she has completed her homework. Even she asked her whether she has cleaned her room, and she again scolded her by saying that I thought I told you to clean your shoes. So she even asked her whether she has cleaned her shoes. So this shows that Amanda's mother is very irritating. Now what is the Amanda's withdrawal now? What she would imagine herself to be? I am an orphan roaming the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. Now again she withdraws herself from the real world and went into her imagination, and here she imagines herself as an orphan. Orphan means without any parents. Okay, so in this stanza you would see that Amanda has developed a level of ignorance because of her mother's constant scolding. So she imagines that she is an orphan and she is even without shoes. Okay, and because she is an orphan, she is roaming in the street freely. Nobody is asking her where she is going, why she is not wearing any footwears. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. So her feet even dirtier by making designs of the dust ground with them. However, she does all these things in complete silence, and she is cherishing all these things. Okay, the silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. So she is imagining herself an orphan, and she thinks that this is the golden thing, golden period. Okay, here no one is going to scold her, no parent to analyze her, and such kind of freedom for her is very sweet. Now come to these lines. Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda. Will you please look at me when I am speaking to you, Amanda? So again you noticed that in this stanza, Amanda's mother is once again telling her what to do and what not to do. She tells Amanda not to have any chocolate, for they might cause her to develop acne or pimples on her face. Acne means pimples. It seems that acne is a recurring problem for Amanda because her mother wants her to remember how they had looked on her face at some previous times. So again the mother's tone is very scolding one, and now as she is saying, will you please look at me when I am speaking to you? As this is the level of ignorance for Amanda. Again she is withdrawing herself from the real world, from the scolding of her mother. That's why she was not looking at the mother, and that's why the mother says, will you please look at me when I am speaking to you? Here Amanda's mother tells Amanda to look at her while she is speaking as a sign of respect towards her. I am Rapunzel. I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I will certainly never let down my bright hair. So you know who was Rapunzel? Rapunzel was a princess who was kept by a witch to a long tower alone. So in this stanza, Amanda withdraws into her fantasy world for the last time in order to escape from her mother's ragging. She imagines herself to be Rapunzel. She imagines that she is perfectly happy to live alone in the tower, for she has nothing to worry about. And life is very peaceful, and not too many people know what that is like because she is living alone in that long tower. In fact, she is so happy with her life that she will never let down her hair in an attempt to escape from the tower. So here again, she is drifting herself from the reality and just imagining herself to be a princess alone in a tower. Now these are the last lines which are spoken by the mother. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You are always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. So again we notice that in this stanza, Amanda's mother tells her to stop sulking. She also accuses her daughter of having mood swings very frequently. So again, we can notice that mother is nagging her. Finally, she tells Amanda that everyone who saw her would think that her mother has been nagging at her, which is actually sarcastic. That was the reality. It is obvious that Amanda's mother feels it is her duty to correct her daughter and to teach her to proper way to behave. She does not believe that this can be an exhausting or irritating experience for Amanda. So here continuous nagging behavior of her mother is depicted, and if we talk about the meaning of sulking, it means being in a bad mood. So Amanda's mother is accusing her that you always seems to be in a mad mood, or people would think that this is because of me, because I nagged you so much, that's why you always in a bad mood. So this is how this poem ends. So as you have understood the poem completely, it's easy to understand, and let's talk about the tone of the poem, which is amusing. However, the tone used by Amanda's mother and by Amanda herself are vastly different. Amanda's mother is authoritative and strict. On the other hand, Amanda is dreamy and childish. The clash between them is what provides amusement for readers. Now come to the conclusion. As you have understood the poetry, we have all felt pressurized to be perfect, and more often than not, that pressure has come from our mothers. Perhaps we have also dealt with the pressure in the same way that Amanda has, slowly but surely resisted it. However, our mothers have not stopped nagging us because they feel that it is for our own good. Hence, the entire poem is something with which we all can relate ourselves. So this is all about this poem. So let's talk about the literary devices used here. So metaphor in this poem, Amanda imagines herself as mermaid and Rapunzel. Freedom is sweet, silence is golden, and emerald sea. These all are the examples of metaphor. Repetition. In this poem, words like Amanda, don't, etc. are repeated again and again for the poetic effect. Now, alliteration. Stop that slouching and sit up straight. So you have noticed the word SSS repeated. Did you tidy your room? You. YY. Here it is repeated YY. So this is the example of alliteration. Allusion. Allusion in this poem, Amanda imagines herself to be mythological characters like mermaid and Rapunzel. So this is the example of allusion. So I hope this poem Amanda is clear to you. Thanks for watching the video.